On the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where you calling in from?
How's it going, Kyle? It's Jake Pensacola.
What's up, Jay? Appreciate you calling in, man. Okay, when you're looking at the biggest concern right now of Alabama football as of today, what is your biggest concern?
Jalen Milroe's mental clock. I feel like it's getting better, but against this offense, it has to be on point. Like we cannot afford to not score. We can't afford to get into a scoring battle with LSU.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's mental clock, it doesn't get faster, and which I know that comes with progression, but this needs to be a major focus because the misreads and the 3 and outs, it's not gonna cut it with LSU. So it just has to get better.
Yeah, and I think like Davis is saying inside the comment box, I mean, the offensive rhythm, right? Because we've seen from the get-go for Alabama, it takes them a little bit to get going, kind of a almost 3 series for these guys to put points in the board. And I think like Tennessee, they came out with a scripted game plan to put points on the board immediately, which they did. Alabama is yet to do that this season so far, especially in a big-time game like this. And if you want to play momentum, let's say Alabama elects to receive the football. Usually they defer, which is fine. If they're able to get the football first, go down the field. Even if you have to put a field goal on the board, that's fine. Like, points on the board against LSU is needed at all times because this team, if you look over their schedule, they're scoring a ton of points. Their quarterback, I get it. Alabama's defense versus LSU's offense is going to be a fantastic matchup. I can't wait to see that. But they're going to score, right? They're going to put points up on the board. They're going to get theirs. Fine. But you can't play from behind in a game like this. You can't play from behind in a game of this magnitude. We can't have a down, 21 to 10 or whatever at the halftime break. I don't care if you can make adjustments and come back. That's not going to fly against a team as talented as LSU, right?
Agreed. Yes, sir.
Okay. Who's this team's most dangerous player? Let's do one on offense and one on defense. Hey, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
This is Daryl from Huntsville.
What's your biggest concern right now?
My biggest concern is the running game. It's the running game. We cannot go out here and have against Tennessee or Arkansas. I think when we had no yards at halftime. That's Texas A&M. No yards at halftime. Alabama, really? I've been an Alabama fan since 1961. I have never seen that. Never. So we got to run the ball because if you can run the ball, the 2 major facets I heard Coach Bryant say, and the coaches still talk about today is we got to run the ball, we got to stop the run. That's not going to change. And so if we can't run the ball, we got to throw the ball 40 times a game. There's only so many deep passes going to be out there because, again, our mid-range game is suffering. So we got to run. We got to come up with something. Or we got to put somebody in there that can move somebody off the line. And we can't. We don't have any tall sweeps. We don't run any draw plays. Nothing. We don't run any of that. And that tells me that they see what I see. That the offensive line is suspect.
Hey, good morning. I'm used to my morning show already. Good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Man, it's Coach, man. I got to call you back and talk with you, man.
Hey, what's up, Coach? Okay, your biggest concern right now?
Yes, you got to start. My big concern is pretty much the naysayers not within their own camp. Because you got a lot of people saying that Bama, Milroe's terrible. I almost feel like your own team against you, your own people against you. And that's the worst feeling in the world. You got to count from the inside. I feel like my biggest fear is the fans. You know about what nobody say. People have rabbit ears. People hear everything. These players hear what these fans are saying about Milroe. I just hope Milroe is slow enough to understand. Don't listen to them guys. You got to keep developing. Listen to your coaches. Listen to your team. So I can't really say far as the team. Line's getting better. Secondary, everybody's getting better. I just feel like the naysayers and our own fan bodies going to hurt our team.
Hey, thanks for calling in. I appreciate you being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, it's Andrew from Douglasville. How you doing?
What's up, Andrew? I appreciate you joining us, man.
My biggest concern is this offense, dude. It did good in the second half, but we cannot get down again like that. So this offense has got to keep up with the defense, man. They got to keep up. Most dangerous player is man, that's a hard one. There's so many good ones. Honestly, I'm going to go with Jalen Milroe because he's young.
Kyle, hey, what's going on, man? This is David from Nashville, Tennessee. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, David? I appreciate you calling in, man. Welcome to the show. Biggest concern on this team right now?
The biggest concern, I guess the big picture is just going through these next few games they got. Playing LSU, it's going to be a tough game. But from what I've been reading lately, LSU has had some serious problems lately in their defensive secondary. I mean, they're going to have a bunch of injured freshmen on the field, which really helps Alabama. But just going through the schedule they got coming up, playing LSU, I think they play at Kentucky. Kentucky's a good team, man. And then they're going to play at Auburn. Dude, I was at the 4 overtime game. The Iron Bowl and Bryce Young came back. It was Bama was down 10-0 in the fourth quarter. Surrounded by Auburn fans, but I just kept telling myself, we're going to win this game. We're going to win this game. I know we got 1 minute left, but we're going to win this game. And sure enough, it came down to that. But I guess the biggest concern is just making it through. And then Bama's going to need a little help, man. You know, even if Bama wins out, dude, they're still going to need Washington to lose. They're still going to need OU to lose. They're still going to need Florida State to lose. And they're still going to need a Big Ten team to lose. I mean, so, because believe me, dude, Alabama can go through these schedule, win the rest of their games, including beating Georgia, and still might not make the playoffs, because if these other teams I just mentioned win out and go undefeated, them 4 teams are going to go to the playoffs. That's why I'm so much looking for the 12-team playoff, man. But just like I say, just make it to this gauntlet of a schedule that's going to be coming up, and beating LSU, man. My biggest concern is actually going to be beating LSU, because they got Jalen Daniels, dude, and I think it's going to be a shootout. And biggest concern is beating LSU. We got to win this game coming up week after next, no doubt about it.
This is Edward from Jacksonville, Florida.
What's up, Edward? I really appreciate you calling in. Welcome to the show. Biggest concern right now as we go into this next game against LSU?
It's hard to put your finger on it. You know, you got the offensive line situation, and then the running game is a little bit inconsistent. But I think that if Jalen could become a little more adept at like anticipating where the blitz is going to come from, I think of those like 3 cornerback blitzes to the blind side that he never saw. You know. And some quarterbacks like Matt, for example, he always had the eyes in the back of his head. He always knew where the blitz was coming from. He probably read it before, you know, he could anticipate it. He read it before the snap. But if Jalen could kind of like anticipate that and avoid those sacks where he is as clueless as to where the pressure's coming from, that would make a big difference. I know it's easier said than done. But, you know, that leaves somebody open when they're coming with something like that. And if he could read that a little bit better, it would really improve probably our consistency.
Who's the most dangerous player on this team?
I think Milroe's the most dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when he starts hitting with the long ball and stuff like that, and sometimes he's extremely accurate with it and with his feet, I think he's overall probably our biggest threat. You had to kind of pick one. Because, I mean, the guy can just, I mean, he can really, he's a really great long ball thrower. You know, he starts putting those things up there in the right position. He seems to put them over the right shoulder. And he like the stuff he did with Burton down the sideline and stuff. I mean, he puts them in the right, when he's on, man, he's deadly. He's a little slow to run sometimes, but, you know, if he winds it up, you know, he's got two gears, you know. He's running along at, you know, first gear in the backfield, but, you know, he takes too long to shift into the next gear sometimes. But when he does that, he can take it all the way too, you know.